You all know the story of Little Red Riding Hood, you know? She goes off, she meets the wolf, there's Granny gets et, Little Red Riding Hood gets et, then the woodsman comes along, slits the wolf open, they come home, Little Red Riding Hood comes back and she's all fine. I always thought there was something really fishy about that story, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And now, in the last 20 minutes, thinking back over my experience, I have found it. I was 9 years old. My heart lived in Maine. My mother's family's from Freiburg, that area. I love the woods. I was living in Manhattan. Both of my parents worked. We lived in an apartment building. I hate concrete. We were right across the street from a public park. So one day, my mother's busy doing something. I go out, I cross the street, I go to the park. I'm going to collect leaves because they remind me of Maine. And I have a little book, you know, with leaves. And I'm plucking leaves and comparing them. And all of a sudden, a guy comes up to me and he says, "You collect leaves. I collect leaves too." And he shows me, he has a little French dictionary. That interests me too because I'm learning French, you see. And he says, "See, I have leaves here." And in the back of his dictionary, he's got some leaves stuck between the pages. He says, "Would you like to collect leaves with me?" I'm a lonely 9-year-old. I say, "Sure." We go along, we pluck a few leaves. I show him my book. He says, "Oh, very nice leaf. That maybe looks that leaf, that leaf, that leaf." Then he says, "Over here in these bushes, there's very good leaves." So I follow him into the bushes. I was 9 years old, and I thought I was in Maine, you know, in the woods. And all of a sudden, he turns to me and says, "May I kiss you?" It's a very formal request. I informally say, "No!" And he grabs me. He shoves me down on the ground. He puts his knee on my chest, and he starts licking my face. I can't stand it. I try to fight him off, and then he puts his hands around my neck, and he squeezes, and everything goes kind of blurry, and then that's all I remember. When I come to, he's not there. And I feel kind of woozy, and I crawl out of the bushes because I can't stand up really well because I just feel dizzy. And there's a park guard nearby, and I attract his attention, which was not hard. And he puts me on a bench. My eyes, you know, there's no white in my eyes. They're all red. And I tell him my phone number, and he calls my mother, and she comes across the street, and they get me to the hospital, and I turn out to be okay, except for the fact that I've been strangled and my eyes are bloody. And my big feeling at that point was, I'm so embarrassed. I know I should not talk to strangers. I know that's not what you do. So I say to my mother, it was really okay because I've been reading all these Nancy Drew books, and I knew what she would do, so I pretended I was unconscious. And he got scared and he ran away, so it was really okay. You see, this is how I understand Little Red Riding Hood. She comes home. She's been inside a wolf. What do you think that's like? Slimy wolf guts? She's a mess. But what does she say? She says, "Mama, I was walking through the forest and I met a wolf." See, it was a wolf. And see, he ate me and Grandma, and then the woodsman came along and let us out. So it's really okay. You think that was it? I think she knew something. Thank you.